A shot of espresso. Ito yung mga beans niya. And I can pass this around. I can pass it around. These are Italian beans. These are beans from Sicily. Now in Italy, they don't produce coffee beans. Just like in Switzerland, they don't produce cocoa. Okay? But they process it. So when you say, I had the best chocolate, like Toblerone and Lin from Switzerland, yung raw ingredients nung galing sa Africa, sa Ivory Coast. Dito yung mga raw materials nila galing sa Colombia, sa Brazil, Africa, and Indonesia. Typical blend for espresso is about 6 to 8 different origins. And it takes 42 beans, half beans, parang manito eh. It's like a peanut. Meron siyang bottom and top bottom, no? Top, bottom, and the top. It takes 42 half beans to make one shot of espresso. And dito, we have it programmed for about 7 to 8 grams of coffee. It's a medium roast. It's not a dark roast. And the reason we have a medium roast is because pag dark roast na siya, it's like, have you ever toasted bread? Diba, you toast it like a little bit too long, tapos, sayang naman itong tinapay na ito, you scrape off the top, diba? Tapos, kainin nyo, anong lasa nun? Sunog pa rin, diba? So, yun ang problema sa coffee. When it's dark roasted, sometimes it tastes like uling. When you smell it, parang tobacco na yung lasa. So, the good beans are usually light roasted or medium roasted lang. Hindi kailangan ng dark roast. Just like a fine steak, you don't want it to be well done. You want it to be like rare or medium. This machine is what we call a Novus Manelli machine. This is the official machine of the World Barista Cup. It's very easy to use. Yung mo yung steaming niya, ganito na siya, very user-friendly. With the other machines, you need to turn the knob 3 times and turn the knob 3 times to close it. So this is more user-friendly kasi up and down na siya. Tapos after you grind the coffee to the particular particle na gusto mo, I'll pass this around also. Okay, this is the grind that you see in the grinder. It's a fine grind. If you put it on your palm, tapos igano mo, it should stay in the groove of your palm. It's not so fine na parang yung face powder, yung mga babae, di ba, nagpa-powder, tapos ganun-ganun pa. So it's not as fine as your face powder, but it's not as coarse as rock salt. Kasi yung salt, masyadong magaspang yun, di ba? So this is the grind that you see in the espresso. Ganyan dapat siya. Because paglabas niya, yung flow niya should be like the tail of a mouse. Like the tail of a mouse. That means masusunod naman yung kape. So it's very, very important that the grind adjustment is perfect. So a trained barista like Kevin will adjust the grinder every hour. Because the temperature, the humidity, the moisture will impact the grind of the beans as well as yung age ng coffee, as well as the type of coffee beans that you use. So ngayon si Kevin, gumagawa ng espresso. Kinalibrate na niya yung grinder, no? Tapos, yun yung flow. Nakita nyo, yung flow parang, it's like the mouse, the tail of a mouse. Tapos, continue siya. And ang paglabas niya, may krema na siya. Wala pa siyang gatas, but you can see it's like a hazelnut caramel color. Whereas the color of coffee is like dark brown, di ba?
Yes.
But when it comes from an espresso machine, tinan nyo, hindi to dark brown. It's a golden hazelnut color. And then amuyin nyo. This is the aroma of a freshly ground espresso. Amuyin nyo, ibang amoy yan. Hindi amoy ng 3-in-1. Ang pressure na lumalabas doon, the water temperature here, it's 100 degrees in the boiler. Pero pag lumalabas siya dito, it's about 96 to 98 degrees. And then, when you do the milk, it's the same temperature, no? So, it cannot be too hot because if you exceed 100, burnt na siya. If you do it at 85 naman, alam mo yung mga Filipinos, they want like. Whereas in Italy, they have it at about 93 to 95 degrees. So, tinan mo to, meron siyang crema. The crema is what they call to be like the nectar of the gods. Okay, it's the noble soluble essence of the beans. It's the emulsified oils of the coffee bean. So, this is the emulsified oils of the beans. Ito yung pinakamasarap na parte ng coffee. Kung wala siyang crema, it is a bad shot. So yung mga barista, pag wala siyang crema ganyan, dapat itapon. Because kung walang crema, that means you're not able to extract the best part of the beans. It's almost like when you're squeezing the orange, di ba? Pag in-squeeze mo yung orange, matamis. The more you squeeze, the more pumapait siya. Right? So yung ganun mo, tama na yan. Huwag mo nang isagad na sagad. Kasi pag lalo mo siya sinasagad, lalong pumapait. Same thing with coffee. If you over-extract it, papait siya. That's why in Italy, this, for some Italians, they want it ristretto. A typical espresso here is 25 to 30 ml, but in Italy, they might want it 15 to 20 ml lang. In Australia, where Can is from, they have a double shot. So they use 18 grams of coffee to make a double into a single because they wanted mostly crema lang. Kung hindi kayo sanay sa espresso, most Italians will put like 1 or 2 sachets of sugar. And then you stir it. This is also what they call to be like Cuban espresso. If you go to Cuba, kasi they produce coffee and they produce sugar, given na yun. When you order Cuban espresso, may kasama sa sugar. So it's sugar and espresso. Now if you go to Valencia, Italy, yung espresso nila, nilalagyan nila ng condensed milk. So yung milk nila masarap kasi matamis. Diba? Tapos lagyan mo ng espresso, ang sarap, parang lasang candy.